Shop Planet for July 12th, 2022. Yesterday was 7/11/22, and if you did not make it your way to 7-Eleven and get your free Slurpee, well, it's not too late. Just go today and buy one. It's only a few bucks, but I hope you are well. And, last week I spoke about some of these changes that happened in the first half of the year and what a tumultuous year it's been. And today I'm going to talk a little bit more about that, but then also specifically, what we can do about those changes. How do we make hay? How do we make sure we make lemonade out of these lemons and just do the best we can? And then also, what can we expect for this coming year? So we're going to talk about that in a couple of minutes. But first, it's not the only place where there's been changes with respect to the market and the economy. If you haven't noticed, we're going through a bunch of changes, and not those sort of changes, but the kind of changes we're going through. If you haven't been to our website, you're noticing that. If you haven't, I suggest please go. It's shoplan.com is the new site, and it's constantly under renovation. But one of the questions I keep getting is, hey, Neil, how do you do it all? I mean, I get it. You're a wealth manager, you're an investment advisor, you're an attorney, you're a tax planner. How do you do it all? And it really got me thinking. I don't know if I've necessarily explained it to everybody, not in this way, but I don't really get how you don't do it all. So when I got a client who's about to retire or about to go through a business exit, especially in this market, or somebody who just became a widow or a widower, or they're receiving a large inheritance, or quite frankly, they're just not very comfortable with the way things are going in this economy and this market right now. How do you not know what the tax implications are going to be of a financial decision before you make that decision? How do you not understand the implication of the estate plan as you're making certain investment philosophies and strategies and you're looking at long-term investing? Because as far as I know, you still can't take it with you. So I need to make sure that I need to look at it from all angles. And I happen to be that financial advisor, that tax planning attorney, that estate planning lawyer, that retirement planner. So how do I do it all? Well, it's simple. We just don't do it for everybody. So I use this analogy of this. Imagine we bought this 747. We bought this large plane and we ripped out the coach seats and the first class seats and the business class seats. We ripped them all out. And we kind of threw them out the window on that sort of bouncy slide that we hope we never see an emergency situation, but then we might kind of secretly be wishing we had a fun way to use that slide without any sort of emergency situation. But we threw all these seats out. And now what we've done is we've taken the entire plane and we put in these plush recliner seats, and they're amazingly comfortable. And we have this chef on there, and we have the perfect music and entertainment system. That's what Shaw Total Planning has become. And we're continuously evolving this. But Shaw Total Planning can't serve everybody. It means we have less seats on the plane. But the ones that we do serve, we do tend to have this total planning solution. And it is going to be investment advisory. It is going to be wealth planning. It's going to be looking at your insurances it's going to be everything. And sometimes we're going to ask the questions that you don't need to ask. So if you need a will, if you need a trust, if you're just looking for sort of that one box you want to check off, will we be the right fit for you? Maybe not. And we'll still speak with you, and we're looking forward to the conversations because I love speaking with people. So we'll still speak with you, and we might wind up putting you in the hands of one of our friends and our affiliates who might be able to help. But if you are looking for that one-stop solution, which helps with the investment management, the estate planning, the financial planning, the retirement planning, and just your overall life and legacy needs, like how do my finances and my businesses and my real estate meet my life needs, and how do we implement these so that we're not paying any more tax dollars than we need to pay, then we're probably the right fit. So in fact, and if you do go to check out our website, you'll see some updates there. More specifically, we have a resources section where you can actually download. I think there's one on hidden tax opportunities right now in this market to take advantage of before they go away. There's another one on the dream exit for business owners, and we have a few more that are in the works that might even be up by the time you watch this video. So, okay, that's enough about us. Enough of me talking about me. Now you talk about me. No, I'm kidding. Let's talk about the markets, and let's shift gears into exactly what we can be doing and what we are doing for several clients. If we saw in 2022, and we kind of looked back, I don't have a crystal ball. This is the closest thing. And for those of you listening on the podcast, I'm pointing to my bald head right now. This is the closest thing I have to a crystal ball. So nobody knows what's going to happen. And past performance does not reflect future, yada, yada, yada. So we know that there's no guarantee of future results or anything like that. But what did we see? We saw inflation consistently above 6%, right? Stocks and bond markets have been extremely volatile. We know these high inflation rates, which each passing month, they're contradicting this whole Fed Reserve's high inflation is temporary narrative. So we don't think it's going to happen temporarily. We looks like it's here to stay for a little while. But here's what we noticed also. Bonds, when fixed income specifically, we call them bonds returns are generally negative when interest rates go down. When interest rates go up. So bonds tend to do worse when interest rates go up. Global markets tend to do worse when inflation is present. Both those things are present. And then add to that, in the first half of the year, we now have this war going on in Europe. And then we have these energy prices inflations too. So not necessarily fun stuff right now. So it is, to a certain extent, the perfect storm, but it's not unexpected. So as we look forward, this is where that crystal ball comes in. What can we expect in the second half of the year? What should we expect? Again, not a guarantee, but we've got some data in the past that kind of corroborates what we should be expecting, because it's not like we've never seen some of this stuff before. As we look forward, one thing to kind of keep in mind is what we've seen in the first half of this year. If your investment portfolio is properly constituted, it kind of falls within what we expected. It's not like the stock market goes up consistently. There's always going to be downsides here. So what we know is what's happened so far in 2022, it's within the downside risk that we expected. Now, there's opportunities to take advantage of here, right? And what are the things that we're doing for clients right now? It is rebalancing. It is Roth conversions for those of us who have IRAs. What we're also seeing is inflation. It's expected to moderate a little bit. Now, again, we don't know it's going to happen. We don't know exactly when it's going to happen, but if we kind of look at the data, we do see that inflation is expected to go back to that 3% per year average. Also, interest rates, they've increased substantially in 2022, but it's difficult to predict where they're going to go from here. I think there's this expectation that they're still going to increase the federal funds rate significantly for the rest of the year itself. But in other words, the interest rates have usually increased in advance of the Federal Reserve, meaning meaningfully increasing those federal funds rates over long term. So interest rates still volatile, but again, we've got some opportunities there as well. It might be time to look at some alternative investments. And we're doing this for our clients right now. We're evaluating alternative investments. It could mean things that are not strictly correlated to stocks and bonds, to equities and fixed income. And then, a couple other things here too is if you have assets, again, that are in taxable accounts, you want to be mindful of this tax rate. Remember, in 2025, we are expecting tax rates to relapse, or this existing tax law is going to sunset, and we go back to what things were in 2017. If you're going to pay taxes on something anyway, you might as well choose your tax rate instead of letting your tax rate choose you. This is what I mean, right? How do you make investment decisions and financial decisions without looking at all of it? And then what also we've noticed, and this is the last thing that I'm going to talk about from a portfolio perspective, is for people who have stock allocations that are tilted towards small cap and value-oriented stocks, you're actually seeing that you're doing a little bit better. Now, that doesn't mean that they always do better, but this is the benefit of having a diversified portfolio. If I had the tree that was outside and it was 20 feet high, that 20-foot high tree is really, really tall, but chances are in the first storm, that might be one of the first ones that goes down. But if I take that tree and I chop it in 4 pieces and then I stabilize it and put a table on top of that, chances are it's going to be very stable. And yes, it's not going to be as high, but it's going to be very safe. It's going to be stable, and it's still going to be what I want to accomplish, which is still have that sort of tabletop. So hopefully that analogy works for you. But the idea is diversify. It's safety, and you stay within your risk goals. So a lot of information there. Again, if you have not checked out our website, please check it out. Give me some feedback on it. If you think there's things that you want to see on there, you'll see that there's the opportunity to join our newsletter. You'll see these free resources that are available for you, and we are continuously adding more resources there too. Again, I hope you're safe. I hope you're well. I hope you're enjoying the summer. And I hope no matter what changes you're going through, you're getting the guidance and the advice that you need. If not, again, we're here to help. Neil Shah with Shah Planet. Thank you for joining us, and I will see you next week